I'm giving somebody the blues today.
Yeah, I was actually heavily interested in the story and the background because I started, Tekken at Tekken 4, I think, and that's where the Tekken got me really interested because of the story and how dark it was in the Tekken 4. The whole story was really dark compared to, let's say, the current Tekken. I would say, or Tekken 7. It's not that, it doesn't have that heavy emotion as Tekken 4 used to have.
I always hear people say like Tekken 4 was like really dark, but like what like can you give me an example of like what do you remember that was like wow, like oh my god, like what like grabbed you?
The way Kazuya was talking when he was possessed, and also the fact that when Devil Jin was about to kill Heihachi, he was the Devil Jin. That was the first time when we were seeing the Devil Jin aside from Tekken 3, which was like what 2 seconds perhaps. But on the
Um
in the Tekken 4, you saw that you started to see the full Devil Jin that we have right now with wings and everything. Kazuya really showed that dark emotions there. After he was thrown to lava, after he was saying that he holds the cards right now when he was beating up the guards or like the soldiers, and Heihachi was seeing through the camera. That was like, wow, this is cool as hell.
so how do you feel like the story has progressed since then? Obviously it doesn't hold that same like intensity, but like just generally how do you like the story the way that it progressed from Tekken 4?
I would say the story had its up and down. When it comes to Tekken 6, I really like the story, despite many people complaining. I like the way it was presented about Azazel being, that was the first time when we were seeing the true, let's say, father of the devils. Because up to that point, we were like, okay, those devils just appeared, Then Kazuya had the devil, Kazumi had the devil. We didn't know about Kazumi, obviously. The devil was just there all of a sudden. But Tekken 6 showed that, yeah, this is part of the Azazel. That I really liked that point. I really liked also the Tekken 5 story. Tekken 7, I would say it's bad. First of all, we know the narration, the whole talking from the interviewer or whatever he was.
Yeah.
That was really bad. And also the fact that Jin was, I don't know, he was literally it's as if he wasn't in the game at all. And I was like, okay, so he just went into some sand and he fainted and that's it. And the whole fight between Kazuya and Heihachi, that was really cool. Although I don't like the current Tekken 8 when it comes to, Angel Jin, Devil Jin being all of a sudden an angel. Kazuya, that's the whole, that's the worst idea for me was the Azazel point. Azazel being weak as shit, that's number one,
That was
excuse my
confusing.
language.
That was confusing.
If Azazel was supposed to be so mighty and strong, and Kazuya defeated him and took his powers, why is Kazuya just getting manhandled all of a sudden? Like, where does that make any sense?
Power scaling was very out of balance because it doesn't even explain how Kazuya one knew he could absorb Azazel like that, but then two, like how, like yeah, like how was he able to just do that? And then why did everyone let him do that? Everyone just sat there and watched Kazuya become Super Saiyan 4. Like what?
Yeah, and the other thing that I do not understand at all is the fact that Zafina had the Azazel's orb. We see her hand becoming one of with the Azazel, but she's so weak that barely. I think basically anybody can beat her. If you see it, I don't know, let's say Leo, Lars, or anybody, despite the fact that she has the orb of Azazel, she could probably lose to them. And this is where it's like, okay, so why does she even hold that at that point?
Yeah,
And also the fact that Zafina was going into arena where Kazuya was, where does that make any sense? Okay, you don't want Azazel's power to be taken from by Kazuya, but then you're going literally to him. It's like, okay, you're basically going and giving him the weapon for free.
yeah, and the reason why they went is ridiculous. They went to the stadium to tell Jin to go to Yakushima, which they could have called his phone and did. They could have just sent Panda and Jayu alone. Convoluted,
They
definitely.
could have even sent Alisa. I mean, she can fly after all.
That's why I think it would have been better to have Kazuya go to them. Because Nina was hired to find where they were, and instead they just went to them. So they should have allowed Nina to be like, oh, they're at Claudio's, whatever. And then Kazuya could have just flew off during the tournament. Everyone could have been like, oh, where's he going? And then he goes and he comes back with the Devil Gene. That would have been way better.
Yeah, I fully agree. I also do not understand that whole Kazuya point. When they are fighting in the episode 1, they are fighting literally like destroying the city. Kazuya obviously wants to kill him, but then all of a sudden he's like, you know what? Let's make a tournament. He sees the Jin that he wants to kill so badly, but he's just sitting then chilling. Like, okay, so there's a guy literally like in front of you fighting the one that you want to kill, who's getting beat up by Leroy, and instead of using that to your advantage, just killing your main enemy, you're just let me grab a popcorn and watch the fight. Like what?
And that was before he got Nazazel. That's when Jin was like technically still a threat.
The only thing that I did not like in Second Six was Alisa just turning around all of a sudden. Just during fight with Jin as Lars, he's like, okay, you know what, Alisa, you're on my side right now. Yes, sure, I can do that. And it's like, why? If Alisa probably knew that she's creation of Jin, why did she follow into the Gargoyles Purge in the first place? Like, she doesn't make that much of a difference between Lars and Jin. If anything, she would get in the way.
So what do you think about like with the DLC with Heihachi's return and like Reina?
I have mixed opinions on that because from one side, I do like Heihachi. I used to play Heihachi in Tekken 7. It was one of my favorite characters due to, first of all, execution, but also the design of his move. I really like that he was hard, but you were rewarded for playing a hard character. Right now, in terms of story, that story just, I don't know, it kind of spices up the question. Okay, what is, let's say, Reina gonna do? Is she gonna side truly with Jin? Or is she gonna follow her father? But her father hates the devils, so it would be kind of normal because he wanted to kill Kazuya and Jin because they had the devil gene. But now Reina has it, so the question raises up: is Reina gonna side with Heihachi? And if she does, isn't Heihachi gonna try to kill her as well? As the first second he gets, he will try to kill her as well because she has the devil, right?
Yeah. And also
So
too,
it raises that question.
it says that Heihachi killed all of the Hachijo members, which is the ones who had the devil gene. Kazumi's a part of them. So he killed all of them, but he saved one child, and that child is Reina. He must be planning to, use Reina as a weapon against the devil gene, or he could be trying to do what he was doing with Jin, where he's manipulating her to unlock her devil gene and then try to take it for himself.
Yeah, that's what I'm also suspecting is that my grand theory, let's call it like that, is that he's gonna try to tell Reina to kill Kazuya and Jin. If she succeeds to defeat them, she will be worn out, and that's where he's gonna try to betray her for any reason, either because he's afraid of the devil power, or as you said, he's gonna try to take it for himself. But then again, if he's truly a human being, I don't think that there's any possible way to take the devil power, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say I
Devil
don't
versus
think
devil.
that's possible.
Why would that stop anybody? Let's say Martial Law or Paul or Steve or anybody. What would stop them from taking the power for themselves? When it comes to the DLC episodes, first of all, Eddie's DLC is just a big joke. That's the waste of space. His entire arc where he's just dancing randomly, just saving soldiers and just coming out and going the Lucky Chloe kind of hand gesture. I was cringing from that, and it was just annoying to play. I mean, you're pressing 333 probably, just like I did.
Yeah.
Lydia had some cool stuff. I really like that whole vibe of the tests and the Kazuya ghosts, if you can call them. That was really cool, and it didn't add up to anything to story. But Heihachi's ending, like the whole story with Heihachi just being a good guy, I think that was pretty cool. But the ending was just the most ridiculous, dumbest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Bro just all of a sudden randomly tries to destroy a fucking rock that comes from the sky. I'm evil. I'm not supposed to be good. Yeah, let me just whoop everyone's ass. What?
Kazuya was going to kill Heihachi, and they saved him. But then they also say that they hate how the Mishimas has corrupted the Mishima style. So why would you, if that's what you guys were all about, the Tekken monks, why would you then save one of the Mishimas who you say you despise? If he was evil, he was going to kill you immediately. But you get lucky and he has amnesia. It's just so convoluted. And I think they should have went the route of them worshiping Heihachi as like some Mishima like god or whatever. But he's like, you guys are not real Mishima. He looks at their electric. He's like, nah, not real Mishima. And he kills them. That would have been way better than them reviving someone they hate and getting lucky that he's good. But then he gets bad again and then kills them. It's like, what?
If we think about power levels in Tekken, Azazel should be at the absolute top. But once you see the story how it's played, it seems like everything just goes out the trash and be like, you know what? We decide that Jin and Kazuya are just destroying everybody, and that's how it is. If you don't like it, well, that's not my problem. Why is everything that is supposed to make sense just thrown after the trash and some nonsense is just happening? Let's just say that as a Devil Jin player, after seeing that Angel Hole stuff, I was like, no, this game is dead. When it comes to story wise, it becomes dead.
I think they're also struggling with like the same issue that Disney and like the Marvel universe is, where like everything is like world ending, everything is super big. Like you don't need to have like these world ending scenarios. You can have a story that's just focused on two characters fighting. No cities are being destroyed, no one's flying into space. You just have two characters like who hate each other, and or someone does something and you just have that play out. You can tell a smaller story, and I think Tekken should focus on that.
In the past, we had the rivalry between Kazuya and Paul. So that means, a human could technically defeat Kazuya, which means basically, okay, these guys are pretty strong, but they are not the top level because at that point, Heihachi was pretty much the strongest guy and he was still a human. Right now, when you're looking at the story, Jin beats everyone without going Devil Jin. Kazuya, yeah, he could most likely just overpower like 50 people at once without even going Devil. It doesn't it doesn't go right.